to The Balancing Act. Now here's your hosts, Jamie Wonko and Joe Vitale.
Okay, hey everybody, welcome back to the Balancing Act podcast. Third time's a charm. So we had some minor recording glitches and errors today, but that's the organic stuff that happens when you have created your own podcast, which we are happy to say we are ending up with season 1. Hello, Mrs. Wonko. It's good to see you again.
Hello, Mr. Vitale. It is good to see you too. We are
Yes.
finishing up season 1, and we are already full on flipping out, freaking out, excited about season 2. So stay tuned because we have amazing things planned, things coming down the pike, and this is a big growing year for us, a big learning year, and I think that we both really are going to put our best foot forward to make season 2 even better.
Yep. We are going to do some best of episodes. So this will be our last regular episode. We'll have some best of episodes for you guys that maybe are, looking for teacher advice or some of our highlights from some of our guests that we've had. We'll put some stuff together for you guys. So you won't be without us. It just won't be any new stuff. I kind of feel like when Howard Stern goes on a break and he's on a break for like a month and he just plays like the same shows over and over and over again. That's why I stopped listening.
Really? No, because,
Yeah.
and really like what I was thinking too is, when we used to consume regular media, so, we would watch 90210 and they would be done like the first week of May and they
Donna
didn't come
Martin
back.
graduates.
Donna Martin
graduates.
And then you waited months and months, right? So, and I feel like Netflix, and some of the streaming services where you can binge watch, an entire series in a couple of days. Now, even like they just did that with Bridgerton, which is wildly popular. They did like season 3, part 1, and then they made everybody wait for season 3, part 2, which is dropping in a few days. So, I think that it's interesting, right? Because kids don't understand how we would consume media and waiting for things. So, I think the best is yet to come for the Balancing Act podcast. And we are going to, just work on some ideas and hash things out over the summer so we can see, exactly what is best to bring to our wonderful audience.
Yes.
Yes.
And we would be remiss if not to say something about at this point to our partners, our spouses who support us in this, but know that it's a labor of love and it's something that we like to do. When we have very very little free time, and when we do, we try to have conversations that are going to help others, which I think is an important part of where we are in the profession.
Yes.
So hopefully you've gained some insight or learned some things about yourself or about how to deal with students in your classroom from listening to our podcast. So what are your plans for the summer, Miss Wonko, as we go on a little summer hiatus? School's out for summer. What's your plan?
Well, we are going to take a little family trip. We take a road trip. We're going to go to Florida. We're going to go to Disney. And
They will not stop at Buc-ee's, which
we'll stop.
Did you stop? Oh,
Can't
that's
stop,
right. You
won't
did.
stop.
That's
In
right.
your
You did
face.
stop.
What do you mean? I brought you those little nugs.
I thought.
Nuggies.
I forgot you. Jason was kissed the stuffed beaver. I almost said something a lot worse that would have wound up being viral.
The first time we walked in, it was like, what's happening and what's going on? But, I'm not a barbecue person. We've talked about this before. So there was the smell of BBQ and pork was filling the space. But it was by far the cleanest bathrooms I have seen in my travels down 95. So we will for sure stop again and, experience all that it has to offer because, one visit is not enough.
I found a video. They make their own potato chips, not like in the bag. They kettle fry them in the store and put them in a paper bag. They make their own potato chips.
Really?
I'm all for that.
Oh, that sounds like a heartburn waiting to happen.
Come on. So what else are you doing this summer besides taking Pepsi? What else are you out there?
I know, right? So we are looking forward to our trip, and we are also looking forward to the kids have some camps, some different things. Of course, working. Not me, not just our son is going to be working, so we'll be back and forth, and drop off, and pick up, and all that good stuff. And some of my favorite things to do in the summer are yesterday, one of my girlfriends said to me, she was talking about her daughter and she's like, water is her love language. And I thought, oh my gosh, that's my love language. And it is so true. So if there is water involved, it is for me. So I will be doing some, my stand-up paddleboarding, jet skiing, clamming. I'm a number one clam lover. I love to go clamming. I'll hop off my jet ski, get my feet in the mud, and bounce around and see what I can come up with. Also, I love to go to the beach and do some body surfing. I love to go to
Sorry, did I
the
lose you?
pool.
Oh, sorry.
No,
Yes,
just,
me too.
I wasn't sure if you were listening or
No,
not.
I wrote something down that I wanted to mention. I wrote
just
something that I wanted to
kidding.
mention later.
Fine, I'm kidding.
My Post-it.
I'm going
My sloppy
to
handwriting.
and yes, I love to go to the pool, go down the slide and hang out. And I just, summer for me as a working mom has always just been that time of year where I pause and try as best as I can to appreciate my the slow moving mornings, which was always the opposite. Going back to work after Drew was 4 months old and going back to work after my 5-month-old twins. Um, you know, I always felt that year after year when summer arrived, it was my time to spend with my kids and to be able to soak up all the stay at home mom luxury that that I wasn't able to have because I was always had to go right back to work. So I've taken as much. I really do feel like looking back on these years that I've appreciated it and taken advantage of that time. And now that our children are older,
Yes.
right? I can't say I have any regret about all of the time that I got to spend with my kids doing those things, especially the very slow mornings, which is my favorite thing because that up and atom lifestyle of being out at 7 a.m. with 2 babies in bucket seats and a 4-year-old. I always say like I'm still tired.
Yeah, youth is wasted on the young, right? Isn't that the
But yeah.
Yeah, I think about like this is no commentary. I'm sorry if this makes anyone upset, but I think about people who are like my age. I'm 48, and they're like, "Oh, I'm having another child," and like, no,
Yeah.
no, immediately no. It's not that I don't. It is not that I don't love children or want another child. I don't want another child, but I'm just saying, like, I don't want to go on the roller coaster again. I went on the roller coaster. It was exciting. It's great. I love the
Yeah.
dips and the
Yeah.
and the corkscrews and the doobity doos. I love all that stuff.
Yeah.
Therefore, but I want to go on it once, not multiple times.
Yeah.
So I this summer will be doing a little traveling myself. I will be taking a little family vacation as well as I get to become a passenger princess. Kind of. My children are going to be getting their permits and they'll be driving and practicing and I'll be sitting in the passengers. I don't know how relaxing it's going to be.
I don't know. I'll let you know. I'm in the same boat. So
Well, I mean, my children, you're teaching my children how to drive, apparently, because
of
I'm
course
like,
I am.
who's going to teach you guys how to drive, me or mommy? And my son was like, Mrs. Wonko. I'm like, okay, sure, I guess. And he slides out of the room one day when she was over here, and it's like, hey, where are we driving to? I'm like, well, Joe, you have to get your permit first, and it's probably
I
going to be
can't wait. I
somewhere
can't
to buy
wait.
ravioli.
Oh my goodness. All you can eat ravioli. We got to go to that place. Put that on the list of the summer.
What's that?
Remember the one in like the stage? Remember we went out to dinner, the 4 of us?
Oh, the stage house. That's right.
Yes, they have. What is it, like Monday night is all you remember we talked about
That's
this with
right. We
taking
did.
Joey for all you can eat ravioli.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, come on.
I forgot about that. So we're
Put it
doing
on the
that.
list. Yeah.
I know.
Now you're going where Sarah Marshall was?
We're going to Hawaii, which is
Ooh,
exciting. We've
yes.
been, saving and using, stuff to plan our trip. So it's very exciting to be going.
Did you go there on your honeymoon or anything?
We did. We went on our
Oh,
honeymoon. We went to Kauai and Maui, and we did go to Oahu to go to Pearl Harbor, and then flew home. So we were on multiple islands, and we were out there. Which was great. It was an awesome experience. We really loved every single moment of it. So we're trying to go out there. I mean, long flight and everything. We're trying to spend some time out there. I think we'll be out there for like 10 or 11 days, which will be exciting.
that's great.
So we're definitely looking for that. And just regular odds and ends of doing stuff, hoping to spend some time down the shore myself. You'll get to see this amazing physique in all of its glory on the beach. It is not that glorious, but I'll be there anyway. So we'll be there, and hopefully watching. I enjoy being able to go down. When I'm down there, watching my kids hang out and have a great time with your kids, and go
Same.
buy ice
Yeah.
cream and dig in the sand and climb on the
Mhm.
lifeguard things after the beach is closed down. And
Yeah.
it's
I was
really a
thinking
lot of fun.
about that boy last summer, that like the nicest ice cream worker. I was thinking about him the other day. Remember like the new ice cream parlor? And it was like, I mean, not new, but like new to us, and
Yes.
how nice he was.
Yes.
And I was like, gosh, I hope that guy is back. And I hope he had a great year at school.
Yeah. It was going to be a
Yeah.
freshman, I think, right?
Yeah, he was
I
like
don't.
gonna go to Montclair. No, he had already gone to Montclair because it was a major that I didn't know was a major, which was like lighting design. So
That's
if
right.
you
Oh,
right, like
good
you work
memory.
in
Yeah, that's right.
theater and
Good for you.
yes. And so I was thinking about him like, geez, wow, what a nice person he was. And I hope that he'll be
Yes.
back there because he was great. And also, of course, I mostly was thinking about ice cream, if I'm going to be honest, and not, it was
Yeah.
like 70% ice cream, 30% that really nice worker.
True. So we do like to, I think in the summertime, all of us like to recharge the batteries. You mentioned about, the slow
Oh,
mornings and stuff like that.
yes. And
What are
teachers
some,
are solar powered, so we
yes.
recharge in the summer.
I think this year, not more than others, but this year I definitely want to, like, when the last day of school hits, like I am going to, or now that we're in past the last day of school, I definitely want to shut it down for a little bit and make sure that I just like put my feet up.
Relax.
Slow things down just a little bit.
Yeah.
We have a very busy spring with children's activities and high school sports and stuff like that. So it's always a go 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 proposition, to the point where like we had a weekend in June where we just were. I took a 2-hour nap. I am not a napper. I was like I was on the couch, and like I was laying on the couch, and we had this recliner thing, and like my arm, and it was like, this is annoying me. I was like, I'm gonna go lay down in bed. And I don't think I lasted more than 3 minutes and was out for like 2 hours. That I just think that everything has been catching up with the emotion of the end of a school year, the challenging things that can take place in regards to student behavior, as well as, trying to make sure that the things that you're doing are purposeful, the things that you're doing are engaging for students. I'm not a movie guy. I'm not like, hey, let's show a movie and like just sit, because nobody watches the movie. Okay.
It's the
Um,
students have nowadays have a very, very difficult time attending to movies.
yeah.
And I will say, especially for both of us being social studies teachers, and even in all my years of teaching language arts, there were a few films that I really, would show, or that worked and things like that. And it's gotten fewer and further between in the last couple of years. But this whole entire school year, I showed 2 movies.
Same.
And I stand by, the one that I show every single year, and no
Moana.
matter
No, I'm kidding.
no, everybody, I'm like, "All right, guys, chill with the Moana, like, find
Yeah.
another movie," but, which I love Moana, and my profile on my Disney Plus is Mamana because it's, water is my love language, but, anyway, so, was Life is Beautiful. Life
Oh,
is
nice.
Beautiful is I always say to the students, this is my gift to you, like, and that's one of the lines that he says about his father, like, this was his gift to me, it's part of the movie. And I say, and this is my gift to you, everyone should see this movie. And I my like ELL students this year, oh my gosh, one of them, like, as they're leaving, the movie's over, and they're crying, just sobbing, crying. And it's like the other girls come up and they're like something 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 in Spanish, and she's like, oh, la película, like, just like had to say like the movie. And so that, and then I showed one more, but they don't watch well, they talk a lot and things like that. So but so I don't mind. We did some stations at the end of the year and played some games. That's also another
Yeah.
issue with this like this age group right now, is that everything that they play is electronic. So
Hmm.
I taught them how to play dominoes. I taught them how to play checkers. We have a lot of chess players, but they also play like on the computer against a
Yep.
computer. And it's still not, how do you look at someone's body language and read their eye and their facial expressions? And they don't do any of that.
Yeah.
And then, and did some other activities for Juneteenth and just with June being LGBTQ plus month, kind of embedded like something academic and then a game and something academic and a game sort of, in between. But even that at the end of the year, something as, easy breezy as that could seem can get wild.
Yeah.
So those are the things that sort of start to drain you a little bit. And, everybody just gets itchy. They just get a little, scoochy, itchy, ready to go. And that's a feeling that the teachers and the kids, I don't think that there's ever a year, where we don't all feel that.
No, I
It's
agree.
almost,
I
it's
think
like,
that
ooh, it's coming.
I said near the end of the year, some of the students that I tutor for a company that I work for, one of their parents was on, and we were talking. I was like, "It's like, hi, how are you?" We were getting the year started. We were like doing like an end of the year debrief. Like, let's sit down with your son and talk about what went well, what could go better. What are our goals for the summertime, stuff like that. And we started out, and I was like, I just can't wait for the year to be over. And even the student himself was saying like, yeah, I don't know why I have to go to school the next 4 days. I'm not done until Friday, and all we're doing is watching movies in school. And I'm like, ugh, why?
Right, like,
I,
why do that? Yeah,
this is not commentary on what people do in their classroom. You do
yeah.
you, boo, as a good colleague friend of mine would say. I can't do it.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
I'd
It
rather.
makes it longer.
To me, it absolutely does, because you're also
Agree.
watching the same thing over and over,
Yes.
especially if you're teaching,
The
like, the
same
same
class, grade
periods, the
level,
same
yeah.
classes. Yep,
Mhm.
it can be an
Yeah,
absolute nightmare.
yeah.
So, all at the end of the year, the activities that I did were like a marketing activity where students created their own resort and where they would wanna go on vacation, and they had to, like, do some market research and look at things about, what was happening in the country that they were assigned. And I did a mock trial, because we did a mock trial as like an example, and I don't go through like all of the steps. They absolutely love doing mock
I
trials. They
did
thought it
that
was
last
great.
year with civics. They
Yeah.
loved it.
So I was like, "Would you guys
Yeah.
like to do this on a half day?" And they were like, "Yeah, let's do that." And like, I figured like that would be a better activity. And I did like trivia,
Oh,
Mr.
yeah,
Vitality's
trivia.
trivia challenge that I do. I do, Battle of the Sexes, boys versus girls, which they always love. And we do like a fun little just trivia game.
That's great.
And the winner gets absolutely nothing, and we just do it for bragging rights. So,
I always say
um,
glory. Like, "Was there a
yes,
prize?" I'm like, "Yeah, the prize is
glory,
glory."
and yes, glory,
Yeah,
beat your
100%.
opponents.
That's right.
So I try to do activities that are purposeful, that are engaging, as much as they can be towards the end of the school year. And
Yeah.
there's some kids that are like, yeah, we just don't like anything. Well, guess what?
Mhm.
You are on the boat, people. This is the ride that we are going on.
Yeah.
So,
What was I saying? I said to them the other day, you can't be, if you're bored, you're probably boring.
ooh,
That bites a little bit, but it hits, right? If you are constantly bored, maybe it's because you're boring.
mm,
And you can't hate everything.
yeah, boring. Okay.
Yeah, bored. No, but
That's
really, it's like, you
Andy
hate,
Sam. Shout out
yeah,
Andy
yeah,
Samberg. Be on the
you're
podcast.
boring.
Okay.
You hate everything. That is concerning. And you need to take a step back and look at yourself. And, you only get one life, which I said, I was like, you only get one life unless you believe in karma. And then, maybe this is the only life you have in this body form. But you
Mm,
want to make the best out of it. It's your experiences, it's your opportunities. And so the idea of, I don't want to go on a trip, or I don't think I think it's more uh maybe fear that these social media lives that they are witnessing that are very much edited.
mhm.
They don't think that they're good enough to sort of match that. And so why even try? It's
Yeah.
like, what? I don't get it. But so I always give the speech of like, well, if you're always bored, maybe you're boring. Maybe let's take care of that and fix it.
Yeah. I know. I don't remember the context of it, but I remember talking with you about something, and there was particular student. It was a young lady who like everything was like an eye roll, or you just, it didn't go, and you're like, you know what? I hate this more. I hate this more than
Oh,
you.
I do that all the time.
Yep. Let's sit down and let's have a like. I bet you I hate this more than you do.
When you have a kid, I have a few this year. When you have a kid that hates everything, there is nothing better than to quiet talk them and say, what are we hating today? And they will like, oh my God, you don't even know. And I hate my math teacher, and I hate math, and I hate my pencil, and then I hate my sneakers, and I hate my toes, and my socks. And I'm like, oh my gosh,
I hate them too.
I hate all of that. But you know what else I hate? And then you sort of match their energy, and it becomes this like very funny banter where you start to see like some of their humor is like they don't know how to connect.
Yeah.
Unless it's they almost are like, it's a negative energy. So, I have a few that,
You spoke about negative energy. There was a post I was looking at literally this morning, and it was this gentleman talking about how to focus on controlling your thoughts, your words, your actions, and your feelings. And that when you put out into the universe, I'm angry, the universe goes, yeah, you want to be angry. So I'm going to give you all sorts of other stimuluses that are going to make you angry. So that's what you want, and that's what you're going to get. So, and I was listening to that, and I was like, okay, damn. I guess and I try to. We all get to points where we are done. We had these conversations at the end of the year. Like I was like, I'm done. I'm done with this. I am over this. I'm moving past it. This is how I'm approaching it. There's nothing more I can do. The famous Mr. Wonko password. I have nothing left to give. Like that is literally, it takes me.
Yeah.
It takes so much for me to get to that
point.
point.
Yeah.
It really does. It also takes a lot for me to like let it all out. My wife likes to say can of snakes because I get to the point where it's like, yeah, you get everything. Yeah. What's that? You broke your pencil point? God! And I go crazy. Yeah. Not on a student, but like there have been, I had one of those moments, and to the point where I had to call that person and be like, hey, that wasn't directed at you. I just needed to get it out. And I got it out. And I even said like, okay, I just needed to get it out. I'm good. And we laughed. And she's like, you don't need to apologize. I completely got it. It wasn't a thing. But like, since I have OCD and I'm in my own head and I'm like, I think she's mad at me. She hates me. I'm a jerk. And then I have to like immediately have that conversation. That's part of the, not to be cliche about the name of our podcast, but that's part of the balancing act of doing this job. I don't think that there are people that get frustrated in their jobs, that get frustrated with coworkers. I don't think anybody outside of our profession puts up with the things that we put up with, deals with the behaviors that we deal with. And that doesn't mean they don't understand. I think that's a better way of putting it. I don't think they understand what we deal with.
No.
Where I had a moment at the end of the school year and I came home on a Friday and I was like, nope. I don't want to interact with anyone.
Yeah.
I need 10 minutes.
Yeah.
I'm going to sit on my porch and have a drink by myself. I'm going to just put some music on and I'm going to sit outside in the sun. And that's what I'm going to do because that's what I needed in that moment. Because when you are making as many decisions as an air traffic controller, not of importance, but of number, you get to a point where you're like, I need a break. I don't want to decide what's for dinner. Even to the point where my wife was planning our vacation. And it was like, what do you want to do? I was like, I don't.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't care. I do. But I'm fine with whatever you decide to plan. You want to do whatever you want to do, whatever the kids want to do. They want to do blah, blah, blah. Like, let's go to we should go to Pearl Harbor. Yeah. Okay. The kids should see that. It's an amazing experience. But outside of that, whatever you want to do. I mean,
and do you think that maybe like Sarah Marshall's going to be there? Do you think maybe you'll show the kids that movie before you go?
I have seen that movie. I don't remember that movie. I don't remember it. I've seen it. Jason, what's his name? Jason Segel, right? Is Jason Segel in Forgetting Sarah Marshall? Is it the right one? Is it the right name or no? You're going to make me...
Jason Segel, Mila Kunis.
Mila Kunis, yes. Okay, yeah, I know the movie. Yes. And you go, I remember.
Must be from London. It's the best.
Is that the one with Russell Brand? Russell Brand is in that.
Russell Brand is in it. And he's like, oh, my
Now, again, I
eye,
have
not
seen
take
them.
the shirt. Oh,
I have
oh my
seen
god.
the movie. I
See it
don't
again.
remember every scene from the movie
See it again.
because
I will say one thing that I'm looking forward to doing this summer is something that is from that movie, which is to like go out anytime you go out to eat, which we of course will do lots of when we're away on vacation. Most glorious time of the year when no one has to ask me what's for dinner because it's already been scheduled so they can
very
read
good.
it on the itinerary. Is in that movie they go to the breakfast buffet. And it's kind of like this thing where like nothing bad can ever happen at the breakfast buffet,
Mm.
and all the couples are taking pictures of one another eating, which is like such a dumb but like a very like honeymoon-ish type of thing to do. But
Yeah.
they are always like, and they have like the knife and the fork and whatever the food is, and it's always like and I have so many pictures of Jason and I in like random restaurants doing that because it just always makes us laugh and cry. Just Sarah Marshall, just laugh and laugh and laugh. If you should really everybody maybe not watch it as a family. I feel like it might be a little bit dirty, but I'll have to text your kids and be like, watch this movie.
Joey will be like, okay, I'll watch it on Netflix in my bedroom by myself.
Oh my gosh.
Um,
Jason recommended a movie to Joey and he was like, I bet Joey, he was like very curious to see if he was going to watch it. We'll have to check and see.
what was the movie? You're not going to
Well,
tell
I
me?
think he said Pumping Iron.
Yeah, he watched it. Joey watched that.
Yes,
That
but
was
then I think they were talking
Arnold
about Kill
Schwarzenegger thing.
Bill, maybe? Kill Bill?
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
yeah,
watched.
yeah.
I mean, he it's a I don't want to use not the word violent movie. It's kung fu, karate,
Yeah,
chopping,
yeah.
slicing people with swords and blood and gore and stuff like that. But it's not like overly
I saw that
awful.
movie at the theater.
At the theater
Yeah.
with your husband,
He was my boyfriend at the
your boyfriend
time.
at the time. That's right. Were you petting his
Yeah.
eyebrows? We get a little. Oh, let me pet those
And
little
then we were like
caterpillars. Little caterpillars you got going on there. My little fiddler crab. I
oh
miss
my
him so
gosh.
much.
So all the summer things and all the recharging of the batteries and the family trips and all of the enjoyments. One of the things that I hear people talk more about than anything else is like how much their kids snack in the summer.
Oh yeah.
That's always like a funny thing that's posted online of like, how come kids want to snack so much? Boredom. And, just sort of, it's like, it does become like that magical time where people spend more time with their children and they start to like, appreciate teachers a little bit with,
One would hope.
they're like, we know, or like the schools put on the sign, like tag, you're it, like parents tag, you're it kind of a
Yeah.
thing. But having 2 or 3 kids compared to 100 every single day is
Yeah. And I mean,
very different.
there are things that, again, not to give unsolicited parenting advice, but talking to your children, no matter what the age, what are your goals? What goals can we set for ourselves for the
Right.
summer? It doesn't need to be necessarily academic.
Yep.
Yes, it's great if they're reading. Yes, it's great if they're doing, math packets that they have to do. Like, those are things that need to be done. But helping them, and this is the executive function side of me coming out. There are a lot of kids who do not know how to long range plan and backwards plan. So when they see, I cannot tell you how many times I heard this over the last month. There was a young man that I was working with who actually said it, and it made me laugh. And I'm like, I'm going to use that a lot because he said, like, yeah, I like think about those things and like I have to plan, but I'm like, yeah, that's a problem future me can deal with. And I'm like, and I'm like, I was like, but then he like made a decision and we talked about, okay, let's just plan out this one thing and see how it goes. He's like, you know
Yeah.
what? We got to the end of the marking period and like, I didn't have a bunch of stuff I had to make up, or I didn't have like a
And he liked it.
extra stuff. And it's like, he's like, it was such a weight like lifted off my shoulders that I didn't have like all this extra work. He's like, it actually like was kind of refreshing. And I was like,
Hmm.
oh, tear.
Yeah. Do you do that job in the summer?
I do. It turns out that most of the students that I'm working with this summer, I'm deciding I took a break the end of June. So didn't start till the last week of June. I only have one student that I'm working with this summer, and I have a stable of like 4 or 5 at various times, right? So
Right.
that's what I normally work with. But a lot of them I have one that's going on a camp for 7 weeks. I have one of them like he goes to a camp and then he comes back and then he goes away and then I go
Mm.
away. So it's like, okay, well, why do we start for 1 week and then break for 5 weeks? I was like,
Yeah.
let's just pick up in August. So it's kind of like, unfortunately, and these kids should be experiencing that. Go to camp,
Yes.
go to sports camp, go
Yes.
to, go do that stuff. That's amazing.
Yes.
But what are your other goals? And
Yes.
I have some students that like, we need to make a goal on structuring how to, and the reason why I bring up the whole idea of planning is like sit down with your kids and plan with them. Okay, you have this project to do at the end of the summer. How much of it do you have to do per week in order to be
Mhm.
successful?
Mhm.
Break up those 5 hours that you would need total and do a half an hour a week and break it up
Yes.
and give them the scaffold it for them so they can see what that actually looks like. So
Yes.
they're not, um, scrambling at the very end of the summer trying to do the summer reading packet or
Yeah.
do
And hit up the
the math
public
packet.
library because the public
Yeah,
library has so many wonderful free programs going on
yes, it
all
does.
summer long. And so I always have like a 5 book rule, depending on the age. But my kids, my girls right now, I feel like 5 books for the summer is a good number. And I'm sure that they'll, end up doing more than that. But
Mhm.
I always feel like bring a book to bed and read it, and you should be reading a little bit each day.
Yeah,
One thing
absolutely.
that was really hard for me as a parent to let go of is like what works for me and my schedule isn't what works for my oldest in his schedule, like in his
Absolutely.
style. And but like once I feel like that you have like the trust there that like it's gonna get done. I'm one to like I come home after school. I was always gonna do my homework. He's got to take like an hour break or more sometimes and wants to do it at like 8 p.m.
Now,
Where like that
okay,
never would have worked for me
my
ever.
my
But
son
I
is
have to
the
let it go.
my son is the only child that I know who will come home on like a Friday
And
at
do the work.
3:30 and be like, I want to get all this done.
That's me.
I want to do my homework.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, but you don't have to do it like right. He's like, I want to get it done.
That's me.
And I'm like, look, if that's your and so the things that
Yeah.
we're recommending, by the way,
Yes.
if your child has no strategy, that's not a strategy. So we need to sit down and scaffold with them something.
Right.
And sometimes we need to throw multiple things at the wall in order to see something that sticks.
Yeah.
Um, and there are all sorts of resources that are out there. There's curriculums about executive function. There's, companies like, and we had Ann Dolan on, our first guest actually, from Educational Connections, like, where you can, purchase hours and have a coach like myself work
Yes.
with your child and work on, breaking up those projects, scaffolding things like, I'm a young man. My man just doesn't clean his room. And the parents are like, we're not doing it. And I applaud them for it. That would give me so much anxiety. But at the same time, like we're going to come up with a plan for him to regularly clean his room. What is he doing on each day? And what's the checklist look like? And is he accomplishing those things? And
Yeah.
some kids need that in order to learn the steps in problem solving, in order to learn the sequential steps of like, first I do 1, then I do 2, then I do 3. So
Yeah.
those are all good things. And I'm sure your kids are self-motivated, right? For the most part. Sometimes they get a little, I don't want to do this, like every kid does. But for
Yeah.
the most part, your kids are high achieving and they work hard.
Yes.
But it's not like they still don't need help every once in a while with, let's look at how to scaffold this. And
Yeah.
I sat down with my son when he was looking at final exam materials to be like, hey, what does this look like?
Yeah.
How would we, if you think you need to spend 3 hours studying for your history exam and you have Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday,
Mhm.
well, we need to break that up. Like, what does the purposeful studying look like? Maybe Saturday, you're spending a half an hour organizing your materials. And then Sunday, you're going through units 1 and 2. And then Monday, you're going through 3 and 4. And then Tuesday, you're overviewing all 4 units that you have to do. So at
Yes.
least you have a plan on what you're doing. Because to
Yes.
me, and I wholeheartedly believe this, it is more about I followed my plan than I got an A. I'd rather see them follow their plan and get a B minus and then say, okay, I would need to adjust this in the future
Yeah.
and learn from that. And I do that with my own students in my classroom. And for those, and I'm sorry, I'm yapping a lot. I guess that's what a podcast is though, right? Am I right? So, um, as teachers, we also need to remember that. Like, a lot of us are making comments like, "Oh, they should know how to
They
study. They
don't.
should know how to take note."
They
They
don't.
I've said this multiple times. They do not.
Yeah.
They do not. They need to be shown
Yeah.
that there are gaps in their learning that we need to now fill. And one of those things is preparing them properly for those types of things when they get to the next grade level,
And
stuff like
figuring
that.
out what works for them, because
Yeah.
it's not a one size fits all type of
New.
program and or plan or whatever that might be. It looks very, very different. I was always the type that even through college, like I would set an alarm to wake up early so that I could study in the morning because I would never have like 11 p.m. Forget it. No, I wouldn't remember anything. I'm not a night person. And where I had friends who would stay up till 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. And I think that like encouraging them, in all the ways. But for summer, I think having a little bit of a schedule is good.
Yes.
It's kind of like a good idea to sort of have this, have a little bit of a plan of like, this is what we're going to do. This is the time we're going to get up. This is a camp week, or, this is like just we're going to the pool, kicking it kind of week. But even in that, and of course, the greatest struggle for so many of us nowadays is, how much time is lost to electronics. So
Yeah.
I think that that's usually, there's timers and all kinds of stuff for that. But just like anything else, just like we talk about, it's all about balance.
Yeah. And one of the
Sometimes you
things
fall
that,
into a TikTok hole and sometimes you read for a few hours.
yeah, and we've been looking at, a number of different pieces of research and information throughout the school year, of what we've looked at. I'm kind of losing my train of thought a little bit, but it's very important for us to remember, like, if you're going to like say, okay, you need to work a half an hour a week on your summer reading project,
Yep.
allowing the child to choose, okay, let's look at our schedule. Let's see what we got going on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. What day do you think you would like to do this? Like, well, I know that we got something going on that day. We got dentist appointments. Like, how about when we come back from the dentist and we're home, and from like 11 to 11:30, I work on my project, and then that gives us enough time to like have lunch and get to the pool. Like, let them
Yeah.
take some ownership
Yes,
over when
totally.
they do that work. It's not, you're going to do it 9 o'clock Monday morning. That's what, like, that doesn't work. Okay.
Yep.
A
Yep.
lot for many kids, allowing them the opportunity to have ownership and take ownership over their schedules, is important. So I know we've talked a lot about the, parental stuff. Recharging the batteries for me looks like, spending time with my family, getting those little odds and ends projects I needed to get done. I wouldn't mind not being so sucky at golf, although I just don't have enough time to do anything or like
I thought you were a
practice.
great golfer.
Oh, I stink now because I never practice and I don't play as much as I used to. But your husband just thinks that I'm good. Um, I don't know if
Oh.
that's because I am good or he's just bad. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is.
If you're having fun doing it, that's all that matters.
Yes, that is all that matters. But yeah, just doing things like that, spending time, I'm sure we'll be travel baseball and stuff like that for the summer. But
Fun.
making sure that we are recharging the batteries is always an important thing to do.
Yes.
We encourage you to do that.
Yes, we
Finding a
do.
good podcast to listen to is always an awesome thing.
And go back, hit up our season 1 best of.
Yeah, we got some best
Right?
ofs coming out real soon.
Yeah.
So,
And whatever it is that you decide to do, Mr. Vitale, I appreciate you and I hope you enjoy every minute of it.
I will, and I appreciate you too. And I have one more thing I want to say. I'll stop
Oh,
talking.
okay. Yeah.
As we close out season 1, I want to thank every single listener. I'm sure you do too. For
maybe.
being with it.
Maybe. No, I'm just kidding.
90% of them. And we want to
Every
thank
single one of them.
every single one of our listeners or people that are sharing our podcast out. Like, look, we have showed slow growth, but moderate growth. We have more and more people that are listening each and every week. And we appreciate
And thank
that.
you to all the people who tell us.
Yes.
I right, like I was randomly at like a swim tryout with last week, and someone that I hadn't seen in months was like, "Wow, I really like your podcast." Those types. It's like, "Wow,
Yeah,
thank
it's
you.
awesome.
I didn't know you were listening. That's awesome." Yeah.
And the last thing I want to say is a special thank you to every single guest that we reached out to. You'd be surprised what you get when you ask. And I'm going to try and rattle off the names. We had Ann Dolan, Eric LeGrand, educator Andrea Fulcrum,
Whose podcast
Ferroni,
is terrific and
whose
in full
podcast is
swing.
terrific if
Yes.
you're looking for something to listen to.
That's
She's
right.
wonderful.
Yes.
Nick Ferroni, who, has my heart. What can I say? John Paul Gonzalez. Who am I forgetting? Am I forgetting?
Phyllis
Phyllis
Rakow.
Rakow.
Tyler
Dr.
Tarver.
Tyler Tarver.
That's right.
Who is just an absolute force on
He's a
social
Southern
media.
gentleman.
He's a
That's right.
Southern gentleman. And has some great content.
And
that's
my
out there.
teacher
So,
face.
My teacher face. That's right, Jessica Hawk. Congratulations, Jessica Hawk, on your retirement. We
Yes.
look forward to catching up with you soon as well. So, and if we forgot you, we wholeheartedly apologize. I feel like this is like the music from the band will start playing me off from the Oscars. So I just want to, thank every single person that came on that said, you know what, sure, we were just getting started out. We had no freaking idea what we were doing.
Oh, the teacher from Nebraska.
Oh yeah, Katie Schneider. Our girl
Schneider.
Katie. She wrote an
out in the cornfield, Katie.
Amazing article out in the cornfield. If you if you're looking for an episode to really start with, I think that's a great one to start with.
Agree.
You can kind of go out of order and listen to them, however. But we got plenty of guests and plenty of content out there, and we'll have some best of stuff together for you guys very soon. So we will see you in season 2. We got some big things. I know we've said that we tease and we do all that stuff, but we do have some big things coming, which we're excited about.
See you
in or late August. We're gonna figure that out. We have no idea what we're doing yet. All right, see everybody soon. Have a good summer.
And you've been listening to the Balancing Act podcast. Have a topic we should discuss? Drop us a line at thebalancingactpod@gmail.com.